Hi, and welcome to the two-piece Spooktacular Halloween event for 2010. I'm hosting a Halloween party today, and I wanted to show you a little bit of what the party looks like all set up before I go into detail about how I did each thing. For the cork board, I simply took an unfinished frame that is supposed to hold a 12 by 12 layout, and I found some cork that was actually cut 12 by 12 that I just put inside. And then I used my Mind's Eye vinyl stickers, and I just adhered them to the cork board. What I envision with this cork board is that we can play Pin the Spider on the spider web, or I can just put pictures of the day. We're also thinking about doing awards for best costume, funniest costume, and I can put those little streamer awards on the cork board until I am ready to use it. So there are the basics of creating this party. Continue watching for more details. Alright, so I want to show you the details of how I created this banner, and you can see that I have used a triangle shape and I have added little details to the banner. On this particular banner there are stickers. This is a letter sticker. This is a Maya Road pin, push pin that I've attached underneath the ghost so it didn't poke through anything. So let me show you how to create the triangles for this banner. I always keep, when I order paper from online, some of the naked chipboard that comes with it. So I just have a 12 by 12 sheet of naked chipboard, and here is the pattern that I originally created. You can see when it's folded in half how I made it. Alright, now to cut this from naked chipboard, you just need to trace the pattern onto it with a pen or pencil. You could also cut this from cardstock, however, chipboard gives it a little bit more of a sturdy surface to work with. If you select a chipboard that isn't too thick, you'll actually be able to machine stitch through it. So now I'm just going to cut out a triangle. Alright, now at this point I would use a glue stick, and I will cover the patterned paper, the chipboard with pattern paper rather. And then as you turn it over with the pattern paper, you would use your X-Acto knife and drag it along the edge, and that will cut a perfect triangle for your pattern paper. Now on this banner you can see that I have scallop edges, and the way that I do that is I either use some jumbo scallop scissors, or I absolutely love this Fiskars border punch, which is called Scallop Sentiment. And you can see on the bottom the guide for creating the scallops. There's also a guide on the top. I usually flip mine over. And then I cut out several strips of this scalloped border. And then I placed it behind my banner like this, and I centered it. And then I just added adhesive and trimmed off the excess. And I repeated that for each edge. Then to make sure that it all stuck together, I machine stitched it closed. Then I used my Crocodile to cut through the pattern paper, the cardstock, and the naked chipboard, and added gingham ribbon. Now I'd like to show you how to do these accordion circles, which appear in a lot of my projects in this particular party. I recently purchased a tool which I have completely fallen in love with, and that is the Martha Stewart scoreboard. And it won't fit in this shot, but it is large enough to do a 12 by 12 sheet of paper. It comes with a triangle for doing things like envelopes. It comes with a bone folder, and you can actually store your bone folder in the drawer that comes with it. The thing I love about this Martha Stewart guide is that it has a guide at the top as well as lines that run vertically. So to do this accordion fold, I cut a strip of pattern paper which is 12 inches wide and 1.5 inches tall. And then to score it for the accordion fold, all I simply do is I place my bone folder. I started at the 1/4 inch mark, and I'm going to score every 1/4 inch. And I simply place it in the mark and drag it down the groove. And you just repeat that to get the entire piece scored. You can do accordion folds freehand, but it just gives you a much straighter edge and a straighter fold and a more even fold if you use a scoring board like this. So I just absolutely recommend using it. Once you have scored your accordion fold strip, then you simply go back and forth and fold it closed. So we're just creating, remember when you made fans in kindergarten and 1st grade? That's the exact same idea. So just continue to do that. So there you have your accordion folded piece. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add adhesive to one of the edges. I use glue dots. You're going to want something strong so that it holds its shape once we put it into a circle. And then you attach the ends together, lining up at the folds, and press together. Now to give you an idea of what it's going to look like, you just gently press down in the center, adjust any folds that are being stubborn. So there you can see how we have the beginnings of the circle. Now it took me a long time to figure out how to get this shape to hold its form, and so I'm going to share my little secret with you. Especially for things like projects, I pull out my trusty glue gun. So I've cut a 2-inch circle from cardstock, and I'm using a high temperature glue gun, and I'm just going to add glue into the center of the circle. I've tried other adhesive, but when I'm using a thick pattern paper or thick cardstock, I've found that a glue gun works best. Alright, so we have our little circle. Now by holding and pinching some of the sides together, we're going to move it onto the cardstock circle. And you can push it down and reform it. And then you just want to hold it in place while your glue dries. And depending on your glue, it may dry pretty quickly. I found my glue gun works pretty fast. So there you have your accordion fold circle. Now I want to show you on this candy jar, I've added a scallop circle and I have added a pattern paper circle. So I want to show you how to do that. So I took my large scallop circle and I simply punched a scallop circle out of it. And at this point you can go back to regular adhesive. I typically use glue dots. And add 2 or 3 glue dots and center the scallop in the middle of your accordion fold circle. Okay, now to create the pattern paper circle, I use a smaller circle punch. I have a collection of a variety of circle punches. When you're punching through pattern paper, look for the most interesting part of the pattern. If you're trying to capture word in text or a shape, I always turn my punches upside down to punch. And then I adhere the pattern paper circle to the scallop circle. Okay, so on the candy jar you can see I added sticker, a little cat sticker, and a button tied with twine. Just want to show you really quick this banner, or rather this beaker favor. Like I said, I cut this die cut out, punched little holes in it, and tied it with twine. Super, super simple. These Martha Stewart beakers are plastic, so you don't need to worry about kids dropping them and getting cut if they break them. And I wanted to show you a close-up of the invitation. Again, I just printed this out on gray cardstock. I added a chipboard key typed with twine to a black gingham ribbon. This is just a pattern paper strip, and I love these clear cuts because you can put them on top of your printing and you can still see through it. So there you have my Halloween party for our Spooktacular activity. You can download the instructions and the pattern for creating the banner at 2peasinabucket.com in the education forum.